Hey y'all, welcome back to The Truth Is. I'm your host Tosh, and today's episode is a truth we can't deny, and a friendly reminder that actions speak louder than words. But before we dig into it, first things first, I know this episode is a week behind schedule, so my sincerest apologies for that. No excuses, but here's where I rattle off the list of excuses, right? Life has been lifing hard. And then out of nowhere, I got really sick, which you can probably still hear in my voice. No, I wasn't off chain smoking for the last 2 weeks. It's just the tail end of a nasty bug, which was clearly my body's way of saying, hey, sis, maybe take a beat. So I did. And luckily, I am on the mend, starting to feel better, not 100% there yet, but the show must go on. So here we are. And whatever is going around right now is not fun. I promise you that. So be sure to keep those immune systems strong, my friends. Stay hydrated, take your vitamins, get quality rest, and try to stay healthy out there. Now, let me ask you something. How many times have you had a great idea? You've talked about it endlessly and maybe even planned it out in your head, but then never actually did it? Yeah, we've all been there. So today, the truth is, execution is everything. And we've all met that person. The $1 million idea person, the I'm about to launch something huge person, or what about the this is going to change the game person? They've been about to do the thing for years. They've been thinking about running a marathon for the last decade, but the only running they've actually done is running late. They talk in hypotheticals, but live in neutral. Is this ringing any bells? Anyone come to mind? Because I know a few are coming up for me. And here's the thing. Most people think ideas are rare, and then the execution part is easy. No, the opposite is true. Ideas are cheap, and execution is what's expensive. And I don't just mean money. I mean expensive in energy, discipline, and follow through. The reality is, the world isn't short on ideas, it's short on finishers. In fact, Harvard Business Review found that 61% of executives struggle to bridge the gap between strategy and execution. Translation: everyone's got a plan until it's time to actually do the plan. And if executives, people with budgets, teams, and resources can't execute, imagine how easy it is for the rest of us to get stuck in planning mode. So that's what we're unpacking today. Why talk is cheap, why execution is the currency that actually matters, and how to close that gap between what you say you're going to do and what actually gets done. Let's be honest, talking is fun. It's free, it feels good. It's probably why I started this podcast. And science even backs that up. A University of Scranton study found that 92% of people failed to achieve their New Year's goals. That means only 8% of us are doing what we said we were going to do. One reason for that: when you say you're going to do something, your brain releases dopamine, which is the same feel-good chemical you get from actually achieving the thing. So instead of sweating it out at the gym or finally opening that business bank account, we keep talking about how we're going to do it. And then our brains are like, Way to go. Job well done, champ. Even though nothing's happened. And here's the kicker. If you get enough validation from talking, you might never feel the urgency to actually do the thing. In your career, this might look like those endless brainstorming meetings that feel productive, but move nothing forward in reality. Or maybe it's the decks that are full of next steps that just quietly expire in someone's inbox. Or is it the colleagues who have quote unquote great ideas, but somehow never seem to lead a project to the finish line? That project that's in development forever. Or maybe it's that skill you keep meaning to learn, but somehow Netflix keeps winning. Y'all, effort is important, but the truth is you don't get paid for potential. You get paid for proof. You get paid for what you do, what you've done, what you've shown. And this is where things get real. The execution gap is the space between intention and action. It's basically a black hole for dreams, projects, and opportunities. A McKinsey study found that 70% of strategic initiatives fail due to poor execution, not because the strategy was bad. That's massive. That means most failures aren't idea problems. They're follow-through problems. Let me give you a personal example. At one company I worked for, I won't name names, we were implementing a new HRIS. That's a human resources information system, the thing that stores employee data, manages payroll, benefits, the whole nine. Examples of this are like Workday, Rippling, Bamboo HR, etc. Now, this project was spearheaded by a colleague who thought she was smarter than everyone, always had to call the shots, and unsurprisingly, was all talk, no delivery. It was her and her team's idea to implement this new system, a system she had never implemented from scratch before, which she then told the CEO, who had to approve this implementation, that it could be done in 5 months. And for those of us who have implemented systems like these before, if I had heard that, I would have absolutely said, no, that's going to take 12 months minimum. You can't do it in 5 months. It's just not realistic. And this is a larger organization. Okay, so you're not a 20-person team. How long do y'all think it took? 1 year later, and the thing is still not fully implemented. Long after I left the company, I still have friends there who are reporting that this has still not been fully implemented. She wanted to be the boss and call the shots, but she didn't want to own the results. She'd punt work to other people and then blame them when it wasn't successful. Don't be this person, please. I am begging you. And now here's where I throw in one of my favorite real world mic drops. There's a famous clip of President Obama in an interview where he says, just learn how to get stuff done. He explains that at every level, he's met people who were very good at describing problems, very sophisticated at explaining why something went wrong or why it can't be fixed. But the real value is in the person, no matter how big or small the problem, who says, let me take care of that. That is execution. That's the difference between someone who builds trust and someone who drains it. And honestly, it's so true. Throughout my career, I was always the youngest, the least experience, the one with the biggest learning curve. But you know what else I was and still am? The one who gets shit done. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If that means I'm staying up all night researching the topic until I find the best solution, then that's what I'm doing. My mom taught me early on that your reputation is everything. Being known as a trustworthy person is critical to your success in business and in life. And the only way to earn, emphasis on earn, that kind of reputation is by delivering on promises you make. So being an executor, being the person who gets shit done, I wear that title with pride. In my household, my husband is the ideas guy and I'm the executor, which makes us a pretty unstoppable combination, if you ask me. Now, let me say this. That doesn't mean if you're a master executor, you can't also be a strategic or creative thinker. You can absolutely be both. That said, most people lean to one side or the other. It's about knowing yourself and then aligning yourself with others who fill in your gaps or at least recognize your areas of improvement and put in the work to strengthen those muscles. So take a minute and ask yourself, what kind of reputation are you building? Are you that infuriating person that overpromises and underdelivers? Or are you the solid, reliable person who makes it happen under any circumstance? Remember, in business and in life, people believe what you do, not what you say. For example, Company A says, "We're committed to diversity." And Company B says nothing, but hires diverse talent, invests in equitable pay, and builds inclusive policies. Guess which one's employees trust? Company B every time. Credibility is earned through consistent action. When you execute consistently, people give you bigger projects, more trust, and more freedom because you've shown you can deliver. All right, now let's talk about the how. Here are 5 steps to move you from "I'll get to it" to "I did it." First things first, start smaller than you think. Big goals are intimidating. Break them into micro goals that you can actually finish. Instead of "I'm going to write a book," try "I'm going to write 200 words a day." Instead of "I'm launching a business," try "I'm going to get my first paying client." Watch what happens when you make that shift to a more digestible goal. Next up, number 2, make it public, but be strategic. Accountability works if you do it right. So share your goal with a small, trusted group who will follow up and hold you accountable. Research shows people who write down their goals and share them with a friend are 33% more likely to achieve them. Number 3, put it on the calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's a wish. That's how I feel about my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. I'm not doing it. Even if I'm going to dinner with a girlfriend, send me a calendar invite, please. So block time for your tasks like you would a meeting with your boss. And then don't ghost yourself. You're only doing yourself a disservice. Number 4, track progress and adjust. Don't just measure results, measure actions. If you're like me trying to grow a podcast, track episodes recorded or pitches sent instead of only looking at downloads. Inputs you control, outputs you don't. And last but certainly not least, number 5, build a reputation for shipping. At work, when you commit to a deadline, hit it. In life, when you say you'll show up, show up. Over time, people will trust you with bigger opportunities because you've proven you execute. The truth is, done today beats perfect someday. And execution isn't about perfection. It is about momentum. And I know, I say some version of this in almost every episode, but that's because it's the truth. Our need or desire for perfection stands in our way too often, and we have to stop letting it. Version 1 will be messy. You can cringe at yourself later. Kind of like when I go back and listen to a few of the episodes from season 1 of this podcast, that's fine. Because once it's out in the world, you can improve it. You can make it better. And the magic of execution, it compounds. The more you do, the more you learn. And the faster you get better. Action is truly the ultimate feedback loop. So the truth is, execution is everything. Talk gets you attention. It may even get you applause, but execution gets you results. The scoreboard doesn't care about what you meant to do. It only counts what you did. So whatever's been sitting on your someday list, pick one thing and do it today. Even if it's small, even if it's ugly, because the longer you stay in the gap between talking and doing, the more likely you'll never cross it. And you're not most people. You're a finisher. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a finisher. And that's a wrap, folks. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor and share it. Text it to your family group chat, post it, tag me, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss new episodes every other week. We have some awesome episodes lined up, including a celebrity guest interview that you won't want to miss. Don't forget to leave a rating and a review. It genuinely helps push this podcast out to a wider audience. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. You can always connect with me directly on LinkedIn, Tash Bukhari, PHR. Follow and DM me on TikTok at TTI with Tosh, or shoot me a note at ttiwithtosh@gmail.com. Your feedback is what helps shape the content of these episodes, so please keep it coming. Until next time, stay awesome, stay authentic, and above all, stay true to yourself. This is your girl Tosh, signing off.